Hey, this is Matt. Once again, what about 10 videos to the paid request. It's time for Rapper Kirby 3K. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Top Secret, the 1984 film starring Val Kilmer. You also have Michael Gough. So, funny enough, like before they were in Batman Forever, as Bruce Wayne and Alfred, they were in this film before. So the movie, it's from the same guys that did Airplane. They worked on the Naked Gun movies. It was three directors: David Zucker, Jerry Zucker, and Jim Abrams, which they've gone on to do their own things. Like I think it was Jerry Zucker, or is it David? One of them did the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze. I think the other Zucker worked on some of the later Steely movie films. I think it was Jerry Zucker on Ghost. I think it was David Zucker that worked on like Steer Movie 3 and 4 or whatever. I don't remember what Jim Abrams has done. But anyway, after Airplane, they got together to do this, which didn't do that well when it came out. Although some critics did like it. And it's one that people don't mention when it comes to those guys. Like they mention Airplane and the Naked Gun films, but they don't really mention this. And this is a film I watched quite a few times when I was a kid, and I do enjoy the film. I don't think it's the funniest movie ever. There are dads I either don't get or just didn't really find that funny. But that's that kind of thing with these movies, that they throw so many dads there. Not every one of them's going to land. You just hope it's a good enough batting average. And this is a whole lot better than Date Movie, Epic Movie, Beat the Spartans, all that shit that killed this type of movie. It did. It killed it. So congrats to those guys for killing that subgenre with your complete dog shit. But this one, the plot, the plot, it's not parodying a specific movie. It's like trying to be World War II films, but at the same time, it doesn't take place in the 30s. It's also trying to be Elvis movies. So it's kind of this weird thing where you don't quite know what year it takes place, because Val Kilmer is an American rock star who goes to East Germany for this show, not realizing he's a ploy for the bad guys to have people watch him and not take notice of their plans, to be a distraction, which their plans is to reunification of East and West Germany. And the way they don't do it is have this professor, played by Michael Gough, to have this device to fuck up the NATO submarines and like pull them, like this magnet to pull them to where they need to go, or where the Germans want them to go. Very weird, wanty plot. But it's just there for the gags. Now, Val Kilmer, this was pretty much his first film, and despite his issues later on, he did a good job in this. He had to sing, he had to dance, he worked well with the comedy. He did a rather good job. The songs, they seem like stuff that you would see later in South Park, where they're really goofy songs, but they're actually well done for what they needed to be, which in this case, kind of Elvis, but also kind of Beach Boys. Like the opening song, Steed Surfing, where Steed is like pull and you shoot with the gun. Kind of like the other game in Duck Hunt. Like you shoot the ducks, but then there's the other game where pull. That's Steed shooting. So, but in this case, they're surfing and they're shooting it. And it's trying to be like Beach Boys, but instead the lyrics are like, I wish they all could be terrible barrel guns. Which I don't think I noticed that lyric until we watch it again. So it's definitely a fun take on those beach blanket movies back in the day in the 50s. And there's a lot of fun, different dads. There's fun bits on perspective. Like you see a phone up here, and usually it's because it's. But no, when they walk up to it, they pick it up, and the phone is that big. Like the phone is so big, it's like covers the whole damn thing. So those moments like that, they're pretty funny. Visual gags. Other joke. I mean, did all the jokes work? Like I said, no. But throughout the film, there were moments that did make me chuckle. And I'm not big on musicals, but Val Kilmer handled it well. He handled the dancing well. Like I said he handled the singing well. Whether it be Tutti Frutti and this prim and proper party, whether it be you gotta straighten the rug, you gotta clear it out. It does have an infectious energy to it, I gotta admit. It pretty much also throughout the film, this girl who's the daughter of the professor, she's on the run. Val Kilmer helps her out. They fall in love. Later on, she helps him escape prison. Then she leads him to the French Resistance. Which I would say when they meet them, that's probably my favorite parts of the film. Because I liked a lot of those characters in the Resistance. It's one of those things that for me, though, like 3 dads would not work. But then one would be really good and it would make me chuckle. So there's other movies that I found a better batting average with that. I would say Airplane I found funnier. Even Airplane 2 in the sequel I found funnier. Loaded Weapon 1 I did find funnier. Hot Shots Part 2 I did find funnier. And that jazz. So, like some of the stuff that didn't work. For me personally. Spoiler alert. I never understood this joke where when him and his agent meet the German, he speaks in German, they pull a gun on him, and the agent goes, "What did you say?" And Val Kilmer goes, that I put his name on the Montgomery Ward mailing list. Maybe that's something I had to understand if that was in 1984, but I don't know what the Montgomery Ward mailing list. I don't get what that joke means. Sorry. But then you'd have a joke that worked. Like, you think their train is moving, but really it's the platform moving. They see someone holding their hat getting on. You have Omar Sharif in the film, who was in Lawrence of Arabia, among these other films. He's a guy who's trying to help out. He gets crushed in a car, but then he's kind of compacted and he gets in. Before that, when he's talking with this guy's like trying to make sure they're not being noticed and gives them all these prank gags. Yeah, they really find it funny. There's a ballet where all the guys have boners and the girls jumping on one to the other. I'm like, eh. But on the flip side, there's a bit when Val Kilmer's agent arrive in the city and there's like a map with dots. And you see the car and it's more dots. And then it turns into a Pac-Man game. Like, that did make me chuckle. That did make me laugh. Or when he's been caught in prison, he's, like a lot of movies, he's drawn the lines. Shows there's been 20. Oh, thank God, I've been here for 20 minutes. Or he's being interrogated and whipped, and he's knocked out, and he dreams he's back in school, and he's horrified because he hasn't studied. Then he wakes up, and he's being tortured. He's like, oh, thank God I'm not in school. Thank God. Like, that made me laugh. And some that's just very unique and weird that they put in there. Like, Peter Cushing. And I think the last American film he did was this movie. Peter Cushing from Star Wars, from the Hammer horror films, the Horror of Dracula. He's in this as a Swedish bookkeeper where you think he's looking through his magnifying glass, and then he just has a big old eye, and the whole scene is done in reverse. So it's like they're talking, and they're trying to get books, and Val Kilmer's doing this to get the books up. Just a very, like, the dialogue, the subtitles of what they're saying in the scene, but at the same time everything's done in reverse. It's a very weird, no reason, just fuck it, why not try this? Try that mentality. Which I say is creative and made for a memorable scene. But it's just crazy, like Peter Cushing. I wonder how that came about. Okay, Peter, you do this one scene where you wear this weird, eye thing, and you're only in one scene in the movie. So strange. Like, you think you would give him a bit more to do. But some other crazy stuff happens, and they meet the French Resistance. And I like a lot of those characters. I like the guy, Deja Vu. I really like the guy, Chocolate Mousse. I think the actor's name was Eddie Tato. Because I just liked a lot of stuff he did, whether it be just nonchalantly, he's smoking, then he eats his cigar, or just being a badass. Like all these good guys, bad guys are fighting, and he's like, and he hit all the marks. Good shooting. And then someone's like, my man. Comes up and slaps. Or they're shooting against the bad guys, and he comes in with his big fucking cannonball thing, the shoot. My favorite gag, I don't know why, as a kid, this always cracked me up, is when they have to go into this castle because they're trying to rescue this professor, and they split up. So Deja Vu and Chocolate Mousse are together, and you think Deja Vu is beating the German, and then it goes back and it pans back, and now no Deja Vu's in trouble. Then all of a sudden these ropes appear, and it's a tag team situation where it's like, come on, Tabby, Tabby. He comes in, throws the German, he goes back, and he's like, Vive la France! And does his drop kick. I don't know why. So many times, like, I'm doing something, I almost want to say, Vive la France! And then people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because for some reason that moment just pops in my head every once in a blue moon. I don't know why. It's just a badass guy. I don't know. There's also a little take on the Blue Lagoon where you get the girl's backstory that she was on an island with this guy and he disappeared and she didn't see him again, and then she was rescued sometime later. Well, he's actually the leader of the resistance, but then you find out he's a traitor. You have the scene in the posters with the cow where him and this other guy, they're in a cow costume, but the outside shots are just an actual cow, which works fine with this type of movie. And you get the idea he just butt fucking raped by a fucking bull. With the Jaws music, because I believe this was Universal, so they were able to get the Jaws music. But it leads later on to that guy getting the girl. Val has to save the girl. Val's on the side of the truck. It also cracked me up. Like they're fighting. Then they start fighting over the radio. I'm going to turn the channel. Fuck you, I'm going to turn the channel back. Don't fuck you, I'm going to turn the channel. Like I said, there's moments like that. Like there's early on in the ballet where Val is saving the girl and he's fighting this guy. And it has the guy's face scrunched up. But when he leaves, it stays scrunched up. As if that's just how his face always was. Like some of those fun visual gags were entertaining. And then, like, there's a really solid setup, like, solid set piece, I should say, where our main characters are in a fight underwater. Done for real. Like they're in the water and it just is crazier because all of a sudden they're fighting the underwater. Then it's a barroom brawl underwater where there's a bartender and Val's avoiding a chandelier underwater and they're punching each other and Val's punching him and titty twister on him and knocks him through a window that just appears and then he gets a cowboy hat. Like doing all this underwater, you see the bubbles coming out of their mouth. I'm sitting there going, yet not only are you underwater, you have to be that calm and easy going. And you have to have your mouth open. Of course, your mouth opens. That means water's going to be gushing in. Like when you're talking or something. Just fucking crazy, man. And it's a very short film. It's like an hour and 30 minutes. That's it. Doesn't overstay its welcome. So, there are still quite a bit of fun dads in this. My favorite part is the third act with the French Resistance and the underwater ball fight and the Chocolate Boost character. So it's nice, at least they saved the best for the last bit of it. I probably still would put Airplane above this. Naked Gun films, I don't know. I remember not minding the first one. I probably put this at least over the second and third one. But this is a fun movie. It's an entertaining film. If you like Val Kilmer, if you like films like Airplane, if you need to wash the taste out of your mouth from the bullshit that they screwed up with on... There was Date Movie, Superhero Movie, Epic Movie, Meet the Spartans. I swear there's like one or two more, at least. If you want to wipe that taste out of your mouth, go watch a film like Top Secret, or National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1, or Hot Shots Part 2. It's a fun time. It was cool to rewatch this again, because I had not seen this in a while. I do remember seeing this a couple times as a kid. And like I said, not every joke works. That's most of these movies, though. But yeah, there was enough that did bring a smile to my face. And yeah, I'm like, oh wow, Val Kilmer, Michael, before Batman Forever, they were here. And like I said, the music, catchy, Val Kilmer, commendable. I mean, he as much as I complain about his behavior later on movies, he sang, he danced, he had a fight underwater, handled the comedy fairly well, did a good job. And sadly, the movie didn't really do anything. Go figure. But he did go on. He was a real genius. And then not too long later, Top Gun, because that was '86. So, and then Thunderheart, which is a good one, and other stuff later. So, with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.